It's a question I've asked my entire career. Does this have to be so difficult? And right behind it, how can we do better? I'm Mike Swafford, Vice President of Software Engineering at Microsoft. I started asking those questions back when I was a teaching assistant at UIUC, when I built a web app to automate homework grading. That turned into a publication, then my thesis, and eventually my first job. And then when I joined Microsoft, the questions stayed the same, but the problems got much bigger. I was embarrassed early on by mistakes that made it into the daily builds. So I built systems to catch them earlier, because while mistakes are inevitable, finding them before they cause real damage, that's where great engineering starts. Later, I helped lead the transition of Exchange Server from an on-prem software to the cloud, transforming a codebase that shipped every 3 years into one that could deploy continuously. That move wasn't just a shift in technology, it was a shift in mindset, and it brought a new challenge: cloud scale. Suddenly, we were deploying more servers than I ever thought possible. Efficiency wasn't a bonus anymore, it was the bedrock of profitability. So I built a team to make that efficiency systematic. And by the time I transitioned to my next challenge, we had saved Microsoft several $100 million in server costs. Here's what I learned and what I'd like to share with you today about how to scale cloud efficiency and unlock massive savings along the way. 1. Embrace DORA and make it turnkey. We did this work before DORA became the standard, but it very much aligns with where we ended up. I highly recommend using DORA metrics when moving to the cloud. And these metrics are lead time for changes, how long does it take to reach production? And realize that production is the first ring of production. Don't over-index on going worldwide fast. 2. Deployment frequency. How often do you deploy? 3. Change failure percentage. How often do these deployments cause outages or fail? This is a good measure of your end-to-end deployment and validation story. And finally, failed deployment recovery time. When your deployments fail, how long does it take to recover? Great systems can detect and roll back automatically. Make sure that measuring this is a part of your deployment platform. Don't give everyone deployment primitives and expect the right thing to happen. Having a central choke point on deployment also allows you to do things like having standard safe deployment practices. Number 2, measure costs. Encourage curiosity and reward results. The key thing that allowed us to stay on top of costs was keeping an eye on it. We started simply looking at obviously expensive things, and simple curiosity allowed us to find some pretty interesting things. We quickly moved to production telemetry. We built sample-based analysis that told us exactly where the costs were. We even had IDE plugins that could tell you the approximate dollar cost of a section of code, so you could decide how important it was to be optimized. But most importantly, we encouraged people to be curious about cost savings, empowered engineers to make changes, and rewarded teams and individuals who made a material impact on costs. Teams that came up with ideas to save money were the first in line when it came to hiring new people. Encourage people who want to investigate and analyze where the cost goes. Point 3. It's a single product, not a collection of microservices. Each service left to its own devices will optimize for maximum availability. They will make sure they have enough capacity to handle their peak load with some buffer. But if you look at your busiest server at the busiest time of day and build for that, you'll have a lot of wasted capacity. Manage capacity and forecast centrally for your product, not for each microservice. Pooling capacity gives you efficiencies of scale while allowing you to still delight your customers. Don't make every team manage their capacity. Make it simple for them to have a slice of shared capacity. Point 4. Shave the peaks and fill the valleys. If you look at a graph of utilization over the course of a week, you're going to see a wave pattern, with 5 big humps that correlate to business hours for that region, and 2 smaller humps, the daytime of the weekend. The trick here is to move anything that is non-time critical out of peak hours and into those valleys. If you have maintenance tasks, cleanup operations, re-indexing, or any kind of batch job, move that to off-peak. Better yet, tie flow control of that work to resource utilization, so you can run it during the slower peak times while not impacting user experience. The ideal curve is a flattish line at 80%. Again, make this kind of scheduling a core part of your core service. Don't make it hard to do the cost-effective thing. In closing, if you want to scale cloud efficiency and save millions, ask the same questions I've been asking since the start. Does it have to be this difficult? And how can we do better? It's not just one trick. It's building systems that force efficiencies and reward frugality. It's building systems that let your people shine. It's hard work. Solving hard problems with smart people, that's what I love the most.